Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash. This is Ash Quest, and this is going to be a little bit different, although I have done this in the past. This is going to be a catch-all video so that we can look at all the stuff that I've picked up in the past several months and have been kind of keeping off to the side, where it awaits its chance to be given a video of its own. Now, the standards for the channel are a bit weird, and I'm not saying they're high standards. Everything is based on metrics, so I'm not the stuck-up one. You're the stuck-up one. So according to these metrics, these things will never really justify having their own video. Some of this stuff is going to be board games that I jokingly picked up for a Will It Hero Quest satire session. That's going to happen today. Others are board games that I just wanted to show you because they were very retro, and I wanted to give you some ideas about how you could incorporate their mechanics into your regular games or your homebrew games. Still others are books, game books, cards, just all kinds of stuff that people have known about and have been asking me to talk about on the channel for a while. So, this bud's for you. Trivia Adventure, the fun and fascinating quiz game for kids, is something that I picked up for $4. It incorporates the IQ 2000 system and was developed by Pressman, a respectable game publisher, on my shelves in a variety of forms. At a glance, I have X-Men, and Mutant Chronicles, which is not related to X-Men, despite what the name might have you believe. We will lift the lid on Trivia Adventure to show you what's inside. The reason I picked this up was because I discovered that Shar was very much into trivia games. I did not know this. Surprisingly, I have never known this. I have classically abhorred trivia games in all their forms, starting with Trivial Pursuit, the game that you find at absolutely every resale shop ever. Even if the resale shop did not acquire a copy, one magically spawns in its inventory on the shelf, dirty, dusty, and at least 15 years obsolete. It is the way of Trivial Pursuit. It is how the game gets propagated. This is a trivia game for kids, and absolutely anybody at all should be able to play and win. In fact, it's just basically a quick race to see who can roll the highest amount of on the die so that you can move quicker to get to the end of the game, because everybody's going to be answering the questions correctly. You can draw an IQ 2000 card, or you can draw the card that's specific to the track that you're on. And there is a bit of a plot here, which I thought was pretty fun. You are a traveler. You are going from Earth to the planet Quizar, which is really far away. The only way to get there is going to be by hopping from planet to planet. And the way that you maintain course, well, you have to continuously answer trivia questions. Each track, that is, each path from planet to planet, is a different color, and it is the card deck that has this color that will form the questions that you have to answer to continue playing. There's a bit of a secondary mechanic where you hold on to cards for reasons that I don't understand, because this game did not come with an instruction manual. So we winged it. I didn't look up the rules or anything. We just threw everything together and started rolling the dice and drawing cards. And it was really that easy to start playing. The contents got a bit jumbled up, but rather than being ranked by any sort of difficulty, each color is a different category. So for Jupiter, or yellow, you have heroes and villains, and questions might be true or false. Batgirl was the commissioner's daughter. Who wore a black mask and left behind the mark of Z? Who is the leader of Cuba? That's the heroes and villains. We only did fictional villains. I didn't know that they were doing real life. What one-legged Canadian ran the Marathon of Hope? That's one that you might not be able to answer. What is Captain Marvel's other name? Billy Batson. What is Captain Midnight's other name? Captain Albright. I didn't know that one. I don't know who that is. True or false? The G-Force is made up of orphaned children. I can't believe there's a G-Force question in here. That's awesome. Definitely didn't get that one. Quick. Which hero lived in Sherwood Forest? That's right, it was Boba Fett. We eventually move on to Mars, where we get storybooks and fairy tales with such questions as, where did Gulliver find a race of tiny people? That's Lilliput. Who was the greedy man in A Christmas Carol? Obviously, it was Tiny Tim. He wanted everything to just be handed to him. Then language arts, where we have such difficult questions like, what day usually starts a school week? And if you have a tooth hurts, then you have a blank. So fill in the blank. What do you have if your tooth hurts? As well as spell debt, because you're going to go into a lot of it when you're an adult. The winner is the one who gets to quiz R first. That's Trivia Adventure. Worth the $4, absolutely. When Shar drew a card that asked if worms had bones, we knew that we had a winner on our hands. Disney's Kim Possible, cheerleader by day, superhero by night. Don't go anywhere. You stop right there. Just stay in your seat. This is your punishment for I don't know what yet. I'll find out though. This is from Milton Bradley Games, so it's already tangentially related to HeroQuest. So, you know, we might see Kim Possible in the next HeroQuest expansion, is where I'm getting with this. Ash, don't be stupid. That would be impossible. I think you meant to say. I didn't watch Kim Possible as a kid. And if I did, I wouldn't be shy about it, because there's that character, Shigo, and I never got to see Shigo in her prime. We have spaces, we have a grid, we have different characters. Looks like these are characters you can play as. I didn't play this yet. Oh, the jungle. Okay, so that's not really a character you can play as, or high school. Okay, never any reason to look at that board ever again. The object of the game is to be the first player to collect 4 mission tiles that match your mission card, then capture Dr. Draken. We have mission cards here. Here's the sitch. To win, at Kim's house, do your homework. At high school, go to a pep rally. At Dr. Draken's lair, capture Shigo. And in the jungle, capture Monkey Ninja. Then, capture Dr. Draken. So at its core, this could be relegated to the category of quest taking. It's a quest taking game. You move about a realm, a board that represents a large geographical area, and then you fulfill requirements that maybe only you know about until you win. I'm not sure what a lot of this stuff is, and I'm not really incentivized to find out. Oh, we have a base for a Rubik's Cube in here too. Do you remember the times when every game had cardboard things that you would shove into little plastic stands like this? It features some chunky, I think 16 or 18 millimeter dice, and characters such as Kim, Dumfrey the Blonde, and Naked Mole Rat Man, the supervillain. I always start out getting games like this thinking I'll make some sort of clever satire and end up questioning what I'm doing with my life. That's the real satire. Away it goes. Thank you, Kim Possible, for nothing. Up next is the Alley Kids Wargaming Terrain. This is available on Amazon from brand Alley Kids. They have a few different sets. Large, expansive, gray ruins. These are injection molded. They're not 3D printed. And they are intended unofficially for use in 40K. But this particular set, which was only $10, not even that, is pretty nondescript and non-distinct enough to serve pretty much in any tabletop fantasy game. It perfectly fits the 1-inch grid aesthetic and size convention. So if you want a little bit of 3-dimensionality, you can take these modular pieces and place them together to create elevated areas or bridges in your HeroQuest game. And of course, you can take them apart and place them back together in any configuration so that you can have rooms or separated hallways. There isn't a whole lot here, but it's all completely customizable. You can remove the fence sides, and they thought of everything. They've even got the tiniest little skull pegs that you place through the central holes of these connectors so that you won't have any holes in your floor. You'll just have these skulls. That's how we built things in the old days. Before you fancy axe wielders were chopping down trees, we just used the skulls of our enemies, and friends, and family, and lovers, and pets. Pretty soon you can have yourself a whole section of dungeon. And if you buy multiple sets, you'll be able to create your own modular system very quickly. You could basically just make a room for every piece of modular flat terrain that you have in your dungeon crawling board game that utilizes modular terrain. This is the only cheap set though. The other ones are highly ambitious and pretty much entire cities or city sections. You're aware of the fighting fantasy series of game books by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone, and aware of the fact that they went through a number of publishers and reprints. Currently, the Fighting Fantasy series is being revisited by US Steve Jackson from Steve Jackson Games in collaboration with UK Steve Jackson and Sir Ian Livingstone of the classic Fighting Fantasy authorship, and all of the books are coming back again. We have a contemporary publishing of the Fighting Fantasy series, and a lot of folks are going to be looking forward to this, but the first 5 are available now, with the second 5 planned to have a crowdfund soon, and eventually the entire series. They are pretty much hands shooketh, ready, prepared, and signed off on doing the entire series. I do believe that they'll be doing them in 5-book runs, but they will be paying homage to the first run of the books, the classic editions, not the Wizard or Scholastic editions. Although we do have this cover for Warlock of Firetop Mountain. They really had a lot of covers. This was something they addressed when they were in the process of presenting the very first group of books on the crowdfund campaign. They're like, you know what, we have a pretty good cover selection for just Warlock of Firetop Mountain, because this book has been reprinted and redone so many times. And that's understandable because it's the very first book in the series. It's the pilot run. This was the artwork that they selected for that. but the rest of the artwork should follow the classic books rather than the Wizard or Scholastic reprints. And also, the text is going to most closely match, I believe, the original books. I don't think very much was changed in terms of text at any point. But man, those Scholastics sure look skinny. We can play these on a return of Tome Tuesdays. Oh, and by the way, all of the classic art is going to be available here in these books. So for those of you who are planning on spending an absolute fortune to collect the classic Fighting Fantasy books, you shouldn't have to do that if you really want the Fighting Fantasy experience. Also, I think the numbering convention is going to match the original lineup of books, because if you know anything about the reprints, they did take and kind of reorganize books here and there. So Death Trap Dungeon is number 3 in the Wizard lineup, while it's actually number 2 in the Classic and now the Steve Jackson Games lineup. There were also quite a few books that were not included past the initial run of books, and a few books that were added in. So I don't know if we will see the added in books, but I'm certain that we will see all of the books that were left off of the initial run. Well, I could be wrong, but you know what? It's fine. This is another example. Creature of Havoc being number 4 in the Wizard lineup, whereas number 4 in the Classic and now in the Steve Jackson lineup is the Citadel of Chaos. I can't wait to get through these, and I hope you can't wait to see them on the channel. Really excited about this, and it's not going to break your bank. And now that I have shown those, I have no reason to keep my Wizard run, because I wanted to have the originals. Might still collect the originals, actually. Not sure. Just because I have the newest Lone Wolf books, for example, doesn't mean that I want to get rid of my classic Lone Wolf books. Like, I have them both, but there's no advantage to having both. Zogar's Gaze is an exceedingly hard to find Grey Gnome Games game. I think it's one that's not available on the Game Crafter, but it is always shown in the collections of Grey Gnome games that are available. I have it in its entirety, but I had to get it, I think, off of eBay. Whoa, we don't want to do that. It is a fast-paced press-your-luck card game in which players compete against one another in an attempt to meet their own separate win conditions. These win conditions are kept secret from the other players. Take risks in the dungeon while trying to win, but always be aware of Zogar's Gaze. It comes with 141 dungeon cards, 21 market cards, 6 jumbo class cards, 6 jumbo race cards, 5 phantom green dice, 1 dice case, 1 reference mat, and 1 instruction book. You got your reference cards here featuring art from Jason Glover. At least I'm pretty sure all of the art is Jason Glover's art. He's a talented guy, very talented, with callbacks to the Lonely Troll Inn wound trackers, I think. Yes, with each level of damage to your overall health having its own consequences, a la Mansions of Madness. Different class cards. The Cleric, the Alchemist, the Hero, the Rogue, the Saboteur, the Knight. Different race cards, the Mermaiden, the Woman of Culm, the Grey Gnome, the Lurker, the Man of Norcia, and the Man of Keldor. Each with their own stats, their own lore, their own artwork, their own riz, just trying to appeal to my younger audience. And the dungeon cards, which are supposed to be shuffled. I went through and painstakingly separated these into the different levels before I learned, I needed to shuffle them. Zogar's Gaze is upon you. Place this card face up on the table. Once 7 of these cards are revealed, all the players lose and Zogar wins. There's a bunch of these dungeon cards with all kinds of rewards, as well as terrible punishments, combats that you'll have to engage in. Not the Shrewkin. Excalibur. It's the Beast. There is no hiding from the vile bark of the questing beast. Okay, we've got several of these blue translucent shards and a bunch of d6. I think this was at one point available on the Game Crafter, but I just don't know at this point. What do our in cards have? Stinking Gas, Fireball, Enfeeblement, Ice Bolt, Torch, the Spotted Shroom. Some of the stuff is definitely going to look familiar if you are a fan of Grey Gnome Games' games. Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium. Game, Juego, Jin, featuring 4 1-to-1 sculpted figures. That means that they're the exact same size as the characters actually are. That's the scale. Action, 3 battles, Janken, Saikoro, and Ikusa. 1 ultimate duel, 3D Millennium Puzzle, collect to win. I've had this for a long time. I did not watch Yu-Gi-Oh! I did not play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. I don't care about Yu-Gi-Oh! But I've had this probably ever since I started the AshQuest channel. It is complete. It has all of its instructions, its miniatures, its dice. I don't know how to play these games that it's talking. I know John Ken is rock, paper, scissors, but I'm not sure about how you're supposed to play the other games. You stop right there. I'm Yugi, also known as Knuckles. Come on, best friend Yugi, I'm about to do something stupid that's going to imperil us and also hold you back for several episodes from making any real progress. You can't defeat me, Yugi, I have the most memes, and you can't save your grandpa, he's already been minted to the blockchain. I literally don't know anything about this character, but I do appreciate how her hair was sculpted. Actually, she's pretty cool. She would hero quest, actually. And then we have the 3D Millennium Puzzle. I am actually not... How do you do... this... I don't... Okay. There we go. It comes apart. It comes apart and you have to put the sides back on and they kind of clip into place. We have a selection of player boards. Ah, that's right. You've got cards like Exodia, the Forbidden One. Northwards. You slide them down into these things. Now you can see the picture as well as the 1 and the 2. I don't know what this does. It doesn't matter what it does. Oh, the numbers are in different places depending on who's playing the cards. So whenever this lady, Kazuki Takahashi, that's the copyright holder. This is from 1996, by the way. That's why it even has any sort of shot at all on here. I actually had no idea that Yu-Gi-Oh was that old, at least with a copyright in the States. I kind of wonder if any of these characters have like a persistent advantage whenever you're sliding the monster cards into their slots. I don't know what these do. You have 3 of these dual cards, so you can play Janken or Saikoro or Ikusa. The cards definitely don't make it clear what the rules of Ikusa are to me, but in fact I'm not entirely sure that these are all Ikusa cards. I don't know what I'm looking at here, and I'm not interested enough to look at the instructions to find out. This game needs to go to a better home. Somebody who likes Yu-Gi-Oh! Somebody who understands all the memes. But I will show you the monster cards here in case that's you. The Black Skull Dragon, the Rude Kaiser, the Blue Eyes White Dragon. I know what that is. The Labyrinth Tank, the Dark Sage, the Blackluster Soldier. I think we're just here for the Dark Magician Girl. Where is she? Come on. Dark Magician, Mystical Elf, Magician of Black Chaos, Launcher Spider, La Jin, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp, Sword Stalker, Pendulum Machine, Time Wizard, Diamond Skeleton, absolutely. Just no Dark Magician Girl. Maybe she came with this and the person decided to keep her. Stickers that I'm not sure where these get put. On the dice, maybe? Then we've got these things. So yeah, all of the cards that I just named off have got an associated stick thing. The board, Ash. What's the board look like? It is a 1-inch grid, kind of Clue-like board with a variety of different locations. We've got shopping malls. We've got the hospital, which you can tell what it is because there's a stethoscope on a table just inside the doors. You have different spaces with orange circles, which would indicate, I think, starting zones for the different 4 characters in a 4-player game. You have different colored squares in the corner that all say game, so I think this is where you would go to challenge another player to a game. Then you've got the center court where the grand duel might take place. You will soon discover that some monsters work better with certain characters than they do with others. You need to figure out which work best for you. There are trap tiles, so you can activate your opponent's trap card. I'm sure, Tan, that this is a lot of fun, Tan, even if it's not for me, Tan. What else? Oh, I did these pill boxes in another video, the Dollar Tree video recently, which just blew up. Thank you guys so much for the support on that video. It means a lot to me. But I wanted to show you that you indeed can get these Hero Quest tokens to be in these different compartments. And I haven't tried to take any acetone or anything to try to wipe these off yet. Don't need to just yet. But anyway, thought that was really useful and really cool. Came across a little container at Walmart that I have actually had a few times now. A smaller one that has 10 compartments arranged in 2 rows of 5, and I thought that might make a suitable replacement for the 2 of those. If I just grab 2 of those, it should take up even less space, have the same height, and hold more tiles, but I haven't gone that direction yet on principle, because I've had that stupid container like 6 times. I've gotten rid of them when I thought I didn't need them. I know you'll be excited for me when I show you this next thing. I got Dungeon Crawl Classics while I was at Gen Con in Indianapolis in August. This is a massive tome, and honestly, it wasn't something that I ever thought that I would pick up, but I'm super glad that I did, and I really couldn't pass it up because the core game books were only $10 a piece. So that's right, I only spent $10 to get a copy of this massive game book role-playing game introduction and rule set. I'm sure that there is an edition associated with this. DCC RPG is a complete role-playing game of 1970s appendix in fantasy. It's the 12th printing. I think that's what I was looking for earlier. I have the dice needed to play this. I've actually got the, what are they called? The Zagor dice, the Zargon dice, the crazy funky dice that have irregular shapes. You need pretty much every die under the sun to be able to play this accurately. I also picked up Mutant Crawl Classics because we really don't see enough stuff set in a mutant dystopian world. This was also $10, so what was I gonna do? Get one and not the other? So I'm pretty sure I got everything that was available. If I missed one, like, I don't know, Sci-Fi Crawl Classics or something, I'd be pretty devastated, but I would have to add that to my list for sure. As time permits, I will allow myself to indulge in Dungeon Crawl Classics. We actually have several modules from a humble bundle that was digitally released, like they all are obviously, quite some time ago. So I have a zip file that has maybe like 20 of these Dungeon Crawl Classics modules in it. So we can actually play some Dungeon Crawl Classics together. Hotels by Milton Bradley is the dimensional game of high rises and high stakes. This came out in 1987. It's the same age as Char. No, wait, it's a little older. It's older. This is one of those rare games that has stuff under the lid. I love it. We should never have moved away from that. 2 to 4 players, become a rich hotel tycoon, build hotels, welcome guests, and hope they stay so long that they go broke paying their bills. I can see that not much has changed in our country. Not to get political. Look at this. Look at this stuff. These are all 3D buildings. That's why I had to have this. I saw that it was all 3D stuff, and I said, yeah, gimme. We've got the Taj Mahal Hotel, little 3D plastic and cardboard miniature of that. We've got building, a nondescript building. We have things coming apart in the box. Awesome, cool. Okay, I don't think that was actually supposed to go together. I'm not sure on that one. Anyway, there's a ton of these miniatures, these 3D miniature hotel models, and they range in size, but they definitely get bigger and bigger. You even get a bunch of skyscrapers. I'm no fan of Monopoly, but I will always try out an alternative to Monopoly, and that's exactly what Hotels is. And I just thought it'd be a lot of fun to play and then see if I could kind of work out a way to medievalize it and make a medieval version for my own play enjoyment. We have these different cards that represent these different hotel chains like Royal and President and Taj Mahal and Fujiyama, Boomerang, Waikiki, Le Grand, and Safari. We have our play money, we have our die, which has, I'm guessing, a 2 and then an H maybe for hotel, maybe a I, and then green circle, green circle, green circle, red circle, a normal red movement die, as all movement die should be, and the title deeds to the chains of hotels here with all kinds of information on the back, the cost of landing, entrance, main building, extension 1, 2, facilities, and rent due depending on the star rating and number of tenants maybe, or maybe number of players. Then we have the board, and the board is pretty simple as far as boards go, especially for normal board games, property trading board games especially. This one is very, very simple. We do have, the I guess might have been a construction beam actually. Get one free entrance and then money spaces and these construction beams and buy entrances. And it goes on like this. I am supposing that as you get each title deed, you can set down the appropriate card in its spot to show that it is now owned, populated, and in play. And that's just one of the cooler details about this game. I can't say that that bothers me in the slightest. That's really, really cool. And there's our 4 spots to get our additional hotels. Now, I would assume thence that all of these spaces that are adjacent to this color upon which your hotel card is placed and your properties, your 3D miniatures of your properties are placed, that now there is a cost association with that, or some kind of opportunity, because Fujiyama and Boomerang share the same spaces just about, and so does Fujiyama and Grand. Well, they don't share the same spaces actually. They're just adjacent to one another. But Taj Mahal and Royal do as well. I believe these are entrances, and our playing pieces are, for some reason, limousines. Everybody's already rich in this game. Well, I mean, you're a mogul. You're a landlord with a prime piece of 1987 real estate property, acres and acres. Of course, you're a thousandaire. That's billionaire in the 80s. I would say it doesn't come with a manual, but it does. All of the instructions are actually on the box lid. You can develop a hotel property by buying the land, then building the main building and any extensions after rolling the multicolored die for building permission, then adding hotel entrances after buying the main building, then adding recreational facilities after all extensions have been built. To develop a property, you must land on the appropriate game board spaces. These spaces and other special ones are described in the rules that follow, which we will not go over, but if you're interested in any particular section, you could pause the video. I know you probably spotted Nightmare out of the corner of your eye, but that does get its own video, so we're not going to cover that in this video. I was able to procure Life in Reterra and Cosmo Lancer at Gen Con, but these were actually gifts from Avalon Hill. They will deserve their own video. We might check them out on stream actually, so comment down below if you're looking forward to that. That actually clears up so much, and I can finally do something with these games. Give them a quick rules run through and review, take what I can for my own homebrew and personal game development projects, and give them away. Thank you all so much for joining me on this, albeit different kind of adventure. Please let me know what you liked about it, specifically what you like about this format, because I will be doing them few and far between. Most of the things I get are things that deserve their own video, but I will occasionally pick up things here and there that don't quite fit into any category until I have to put them all together, and I will always keep your notes and your thoughts and your wants and your unwants in mind when doing so. So please feel free and be sure to sound off in the comments below. Consider checking out the Patreon, and I'll see you in the next exciting adventure. Until then, brave heroes, farewell for now.